Hey everyone, welcome to Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski. This has been a pretty quiet week from Super Evil Megacorp. Not a lot of Vainglory news happening. I feel like they're working on something super secret for us. A lot of probably fun stuff planned. Changes, balance changes. Probably get a new hero here in 1.10. So it should probably be coming, sometime a little after Halloween. That's usually about our schedule, that first week of the month. So get ready for that. And that means we're coming up on about the year for the game being released in North America. And also, I think we're a month away from 1 year anniversary of the podcast. I'm super excited. That's a lot of fun. This week's episode, since we haven't had a lot of Vainglory news, I got two guests on. Tikune and Rage from the Halcyon Hammers are joining me to talk about eSports, talk about gaming, just talk about the culture of Vainglory, the community, where it's going, what they're doing. A lot of fun stuff. We're gonna get into some tips for new players, like just letting you know you're just getting started in MOBAs. They can be confusing, so that'll be towards the end of the show. So let's jump into it. Let's do it.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about vainglory.
This is the 55th episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. And every week, I'm bringing new people from the community, streamers, players, YouTubers, developers, who's ever available and wants to join me to talk about Vainglory for, about an hour. And this week, I have two people on. This is the first time we've ever had two people on the podcast, so this is a treat. Rage and Tikune, welcome.
Thanks so much.
What's up, Brad? Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us.
This is fantastic. So, you guys are both part of Halcyon Hammers, and that's kind of why I'm having you guys on together, because we're gonna talk about some esports and some fun stuff about the competitive scene, right?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into it.
Yeah, before we start talking about Halcyon Hammers, you want to introduce yourselves and who you guys are, because you guys are streaming as well, like just doing your thing also, right?
Right. Go ahead and go first, Rage.
So about myself, Vainglory is my second MOBA. I started off on Heroes of Order and Chaos.
Okay.
It's made by Gameloft. It's still out there, but for me, after playing that game for about 2 years, there was a lot of things that were missing for me, and I saw a lot of potential in the game. I think it was actually the first mobile MOBA that was out there. And if you know Gameloft, they do a lot of game development, but there's no maintenance phase at all. So they bring a game online that has huge potential. They copy big titles.
Uh-huh.
They bring them out, but they don't really maintain them or understand the growth or what's needed to carry them to the next step. So as soon as Vainglory came along and it was in still in development, I started playing on SEA.
Yeah.
And just it took a couple of games for me, and I was like, this is it. This is it. Like I could tell right then that this game was going to go places and that it, had a lot going for it. It just took me to cruise around the forums and just kind of see the that partnership in between developer and player, which is what was totally different from what was happening between Heroes of Order and Chaos and Gameloft. So it was like I automatically fell in love, and I've been here since. Just jump into Vainglory. It's my second MOBA, and
So
I've been around it.
Are you primarily like only a mobile gamer, or do you also play like PC games than console games, or like mobile is kind of like hit it for you?
I started my career in playing World of Warcraft competitively for about 4 years.
Okay.
And then as soon as the baby came along, the desktop got put back in the closet, and it was kind of like, let me just sneak a game here, sneak a game there, and it was playing like the really cheesy mobile games, Bejeweled and Restaurant Story, and just kind of getting my game fixed. I just needed something, and then I got into this game that was Order and Chaos Online, which is another Gameloft game.
Okay.
And it was like an MMO. It's supposed to be like the copy of World of Warcraft. Like, this is it. I got World of Warcraft in my pocket. So I bust this thing, and I'm like, the baby's over there, and I'm here tapping away. And then they made a MOBA, and I was like, MOBA, this is awesome. This is all I want to do is PvP. I just want to kill people all day.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm playing this MOBA, and then kids getting older, and there's no time for desktop, So
Okay.
yeah, just kind of like stayed in the mobile thing, and it's so easier. It's so much easier for I've got a family, so being able to bust out the tablet or the phone and play is really appeasing for me. So
Yeah, I had a buddy. He compared like the idea of like he was a big World of Warcraft player and like plays MOBAs now, and it's like you get rid of all that like months of leveling someone. It's like every game you get to level someone from like 0 to the max level in
Right.
15, 20 minutes, and that's what you want to do in WoW and everything. It's just like
yeah.
It's-
Exactly. You got like an hour to go, and World of Warcraft. If you play competitively, you've got to devote your life to World of Warcraft. You've got to market in your chest and sacrifice pigs and stuff. Like it's crazy to play World of Warcraft competitively. You have to do a lot of PvE,
Okay.
player versus environment. So you have to do the 25-man raids, and you have to spend hours and hours and hours just to get this one piece of gear that you take into the arena to smash people's faces in. So, like, devoting my life to that, just kind of got over it, to be honest. And starting at level 1 to 15 in one game and getting the same gear as everybody else, it's just so much cooler.
Yeah, nice.
Although SEMC has brought over some of those leveling kind of social constructs with now the guild leveling and team leveling and all of that, and then the resetting of the skill tiers where there is that drive to grind.
Yeah,
for,
a little bit, yeah.
for achievement, but it's not anything like what you're talking about with World of Warcraft.
No, yeah, definitely not. Like this, yeah, it's still there, but I think that just keeps you coming back and wanting to continue to
Right.
play. Yeah. Tikune, what about you? How did you get started in Vainglory?
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of the unlikeliest person to be where I'm at right now, but for me, Vainglory started as for so many people. I saw the Worldwide Developers Conference. I saw Tommy get up there and Stefan get up there and demo the app. And just from that demo, I thought, okay, as soon as that's available, I can't believe they were able to pull that off on a mobile device. As soon as that's available as an app I can download, I'm going to download that and check it out. And then, sure enough, when the news came that it was available, I downloaded it, and I was in, I think, November 2014, and I fell in love with the game really fast and really hard. I'm not per se a gamer of my own accord, but to be able to just take 15 minutes and go off and play a game and then come back to it, I had 400 wins in January.
Okay.
On my account, so I was I was grinding, to be sure, like that, and those early days, and I got to a point where I was kind of bumping up against. The skill tier started to be the thing I was going for, because I pretty quickly was unlocking all the heroes that were available at the time. And I was pretty good something, because they didn't have bronze, silver, gold. And it felt like I had been lost in the sea of pretty good for, it felt like a month. I don't know that it was that long, but I just could never get out of pretty good. And I finally was like, I need to find somebody else to play with, because it's so hit and miss. And I'm going up against people that are obviously teams playing, the strategy together and everything. So
Yeah.
let me go digging around the forums and seeing what I can find. And I posted my, looking for a team on the forums, and saw the Halcyon Hammers guild invite. And it was pretty early for the guild at that point. I think they founded in December 10th, 2014. So I was about a month late for the actual founding, but
Okay.
did some tryouts with them. They took me under their wing, and actually the very first day I played with them, I hit hotness. So I probably was going to hit hotness anyways. That was kind of the motivation for me.
But you got it, and you're like,
I got it.
These guys are it.
Yeah, I got that. I got to I think about SA Silver installed out in about February. But yeah, just falling deeper and deeper in love with the game, and finding that as I do, it looks less and less like me playing the game, and more like a lot of activities surrounding developing the community of the game, and developing the HH in itself.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, how moving into Halcyon Hammers, like how big is the guild now? Like, what are you guys up to? You're not just like a group of people that just like, hey, we just play together. Like, I just needed a friend to help me get to the next skill
Right.
tier.
Yeah, I mean, along the way, there was definitely the transition. We're around 30. I think we're around 30 people now. Haven't gone through and done a head count in the last little bit, but we've been bringing people on. So, but yeah, somewhere, I should back up and say, the Kima founded the Halcyon Hammers along with Jaguar and Douglas 314. These are guys that had been playing and gaming together competitively for years at that point. So it was natural for them to come along and found a guild. They took it very seriously from the beginning. Like before I was even there, in that first month, they'd already organized the first, serious competitive tournament, what was called the Tournament of Champions, where they basically just reached out to all the known guilds at the time and said, "Bring your best and let's do a tournament." So,
Yeah,
there's always been that serious side to HH, but I think more and more, I think we were the first Vainglory guild to take the step of organizing as an LLC, and
right. Yeah, that was kind of
seeking partnerships. And
yeah. So that was a big step. What made you guys decide to do that versus just kind of continuing? Were you seeing like, oh, did it just kind of make you guys want to get serious about it, like having the LLC, or is it thoughts there? Yes.
yeah, I mean, it was as much as anything about we could only go so far as individuals kind of pursuing our own aims under the same roof, and it was really let's pull it together into one entity that can then, as that entity, we can go talk to people about potential partnerships, and bring them our collective best effort, our collective best social media numbers and metrics, our collective best. We have a website and the traffic at that website and everything.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier we have found it's easier to pursue partnerships when the discussion is between two businesses as opposed to businesses and individuals. Although, I mean, with that said, businesses partnering with esports are used to the idea of having to, work business to individual. It's just that I think it's if anything, it kind of, the feedback so far has been that it's refreshing that we're coming at this from kind of more of a business minded perspective, I would say.
Okay. Neat.
I should say my background is my day job. Basically, I work full time in a technology company, and I'm one of the 3 owners of that company. I've been doing it for 12 years, so the business management side of it comes really naturally to me at this point.
Oh, cool. That's very helpful in running a group of people. So yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' both your roles in the guild? Like the kind of everyone has a different spot in there, right? Like leader, manager. What are you guys?
Right. Well, kind of early on, I think I got put in charge of like February timeframe. It was, why don't you go do the social media stuff? And so I was the social media guy, and then then I was recruiting and handling all of our tryouts. And then in the end of July, like very beginning of August timeframe, Kima and the other captains of the Halcyon Hammers at that time kind of pulled together and nominated me made the call that we need to organize as an LLC, and nominated me the CEO and leader of that organization.
Oh, cool.
Kind of hereafter. So that's my new role is CEO of the Halcyon Hammers on the business side, and leader in game. And very much it feels for everybody in the Halcyon Hammers, it very much feels like co-leader with Kima. I mean, he's amazing, like the founder of the Halcyon Hammers. He's almost like guild psychologist also. Like he's really fantastic at just getting into everybody's heads. So.
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead, Reach.
So I do talent acquisitions and competitive team manager right now for HH. So I kind of run the application process, tryout phase, and then kind of place them into one of our 4 teams. We currently have 4 teams under HH. We have HH Force, HH Kinetic, HH Impact, and the newly formed Lady Hammers team.
Oh, right. Okay. As
of 2 weeks now. So we try to place them, not just based off skill, but personalities. And then we intend to have, everyone be competitive, but there's different levels of competitive and of play. So, and we're always looking out for new talent. It's the thing with games is players have have good seasons, bad seasons, and stuff like that. So just kind of keep an eye out for new talent out there, grow the talent that you have, and go out there and represent the name and the brand.
Okay. And is there like do you guys have like a team, or is everyone kind of like equal, or do you have like that, like this is our best team we're sending forward, or is that kind of always changing? As you said, people like have good
Yeah,
seasons
we're always
and bad.
we're always trying to place people into teams that we and try to keep everyone competitive. But right now, I'd say our most practiced and polished team is HH Force, which is Xenotech plays under there,
Okay.
and Sui Generis and Billy the Kid.
Okay.
And those are actually all contracted players.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they're all contracted, and we do have Drizzy as well as of one of our subs, and we're looking to move another sub in there. We haven't officially announced, but we're definitely that would be considered our A team, and we expect the guys to do big things.
Right. I want to say though, it's absolutely a meritocracy. So, we've pulled these incredible talent together with, like you said, Xenotech, Billy the Kids, Sui Generis. But when it comes time for VGL or other competitive events, it's going to be if we had 4 competitive teams, it's going to be internally we'll establish which are the 2 teams to put forward if it's a 2-team.
Right. And so
especially with the new system in place, that team system is really good on tracking the team's progression.
Right.
The win count is huge. Yeah.
Their ELO. We can't sit there and watch every game they play. So just watching how they play together, and then again, like before a big tournament goes, we go, hey, we have a slot open for an HH team. Do kind of like a round robin or something, and just kind of see who's playing well, and then put them in there. It's not guaranteed at all, which is going to be the second team in there.
Okay. Nice. And so how's this all, with this in-team stuff and everything, how's this all playing into, do you feel like esports for Vainglory? Like we're at like a really interesting time for it where it's like just about to explode, or like it's exploding, and we're so close at the beginning now. It's kind of nuts. And to be in your guys' position where you're already like organized at LLC, you have these sponsors, and you really have these teams that are, these are players that are now working for you to play the game. And so it's got to be fun to see this exploding, right?
Right. Yeah, if you look at it just purely from the business perspective, I mean, the esports on the whole across both desktop and mobile is growing 30%, is projected to grow 30% year after year for at least the next 5 years, which is tremendous compared to like most any other industry you could look at. It's seems to be especially picking up quickly here in North America. There's a lot of things coming within even just the next year that are going to be game changers for esports. And I think Super Evil Megacorp and the game Vainglory, more so than any other game we've seen, is really well positioned to be dominant on mobile. Which you look at the metrics for mobile is it's no surprise that everybody has, to anybody, that people have devices that they can play Vainglory on. I mean, you look and you see the proliferation of smartphones that and it's something like 5 to 1 compared to people at home with desktop computers capable of running games like League of Legends and Dota. And so just the sheer numbers alone, as more people come into contact with the fact that games don't have to be, even if they're a mobile game, they don't have to be like Rage was saying early on, I just played whatever, and it doesn't have to be like a simple Candy Crush type game or something like that. The fact that a game can be as engaging as Vainglory, it's just a matter of time before it just continues to accelerate, I think.
Yeah. Do you think in North America, do you think we have a hurdle to get past that idea and get past the idea that these are sports that people want to watch on TV? I
think as far as Super Evil and the organic guilds and teams in Vainglory, I think there'll be a point where we kind of need the other end to kind of meet us halfway, and that would be some major brands coming in and helping. I know that for example, G2 had picked up a team over in Europe. And I think you need some more of those, somewhere meeting in the middle. There's only so much I think we could do of establishing some of that stuff that's needed to make it, this sensation that we all know it's going to be.
Yeah.
We definitely need some big brands. I think they're filling it out. I know not a lot of big brands are totally invested into like League of Legends, but I think maybe Vainglory could be that game just because of the sheer numbers and the accessibility. You're taking away again the desktop and you're pushing it to everyone has a smartphone, everyone has a tablet, and that's very appealing. I think that's a huge market for some of these big brands to come in. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Coca-Cola coming in the next month, but you never know.
Yeah, it's certain. Well, I mean, ESPN is already like within the next year will be into esports. There's roughly 700 million home gaming PC users versus just rising really rapidly, around 3 billion mobile device gamers.
Right.
And by the end of next year, by the end of 2016. So when you look at those those numbers, that's half the planet nearly.
Yeah, that's a lot of people playing
with a device that's a mobile device gamer. So, and these devices are only going to become more powerful. So.
But I think it's not only like the people who play it, but the spectators. So League of Legends has like the players and all this stuff, but what they pick up on is all these viewers and people to turn on their smartphone and go view this game and then go in there and play it. It's a great time to be part of the Vainglory and see where it goes right now. Especially for all of us who we've seen it from the very start till now. It's just each quarter is exponentially better than the last. It's like. Yeah. Each week is exponentially better than last. Yeah. It's very exciting. It's definitely something that I like to be part of. I mean, it's awesome. It's more than a game at this point for me. It's this is eat, sleep, and breathe Vainglory and everything around it.
Yeah, it's almost becoming a full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
It's my second full-time job.
So before we jump into the news, like try all these new players and everything, if they're getting into the game and like wanting to be competitive and stuff, what do you guys look for in people to join Halcyon Hammers, or even on a professional side? Like if you were to sign another new person, like what are you looking for in that person? Was that a very open-ended question, I guess?
Yeah.
So for anything, like we definitely would place somewhere where there's a need, especially under contract. But essentially, just I don't know. Like it's there's different levels that we look at. We do have the application on halcyonhammers.com.
Yeah.
Anyone's welcome to go on there, submit an application. I get the email directly. We do tryouts a couple times a week. So I definitely look for a few things and maybe not some of the big names. There's a couple of guys and I'm kind of run through the process I've never even heard up until now, but they had a really great application. We had a good interview. We're doing the trial and it's like, hey, this guy is just, I feel like the compression of the tiers right now allows for a lot of new talent that may have always been out there, but they've been stuck at like a lower tier just because they're running solo queue. And that's what I'm looking for right now is like undiscovered people, because I think all the people that are discovered right now are taken. So I'm looking for the next player, which I think is very exciting if you're not part of like a big guild already and you just play this game, and to be, part of something big. It's, if you think you got what it takes, go to halcyonhammers.com, fill an application, and then we'll give it serious thought and run you through the process.
Nice.
Right. One thing I want to be clear about is, there's a lot of really, really good guilds in Vainglory, and we want to be respectful of the fact that these guilds are out there. We have never and don't intend to start just directly approaching talent on other competitive teams and saying, hey, what are they doing? I'll give you 8 times that or something like that. That's not our style by any means. So, and I think it's still nascent enough that there is an opportunity for teams for guilds within Vainglory, for several guilds within Vainglory to become established and kind of become those next generation big esports names. Like Cloud9 of mobile is of Vainglory is certainly an opportunity it's out there for us, and other guilds like that will be coming in, but I think there's plenty of opportunity for homegrown successes, even as this goes forward over the next several years.
Yeah, definitely. Well, very cool. Should we jump into some news, which I think is perfect for what we're talking about here?
Vainglory News.
So really, this week there has been almost no Vainglory news. Like they're being real quiet about what they're working on. We're about halfway to the next patch. So October's, it's October 18th now. So we should see one that first week of November, maybe right after Halloween. So they can remove those pumpkins and that kind of stuff. So I think we'll start to see some like teases maybe this coming week. But we did get a bit of news about the VGL Autumn Season Qualifier. So this is like part 2 to VGL, I guess, Season 1. So there was going to be two qualifiers that were happening, and then Season 1's going to kick off. So this is the second part of it. Teams will be able to carry over their points if they were in the previous qualifier. And then the teams with the most points go on to the VGL Season 1. But you can still, if you did not play in the first qualifier, you can still play in this one. Like you can get a team together, sign up. I think they're doing the same amount of teams, right? The 128, or did they cut that down? Do you guys know?
I believe it's still 128. Yeah.
I think it's the original size.
So that's a lot of teams, and some people have moved on. We saw like the first place teams of the last qualifier, they got their ticket to the VIPL, so I don't think they're playing in this. So they're good to go. So spots are open.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the taking.
Yeah, so I think this is a chance if you made it decently far in the last round, or you have a team that's like really solid now, especially with 1.9 coming out. You got your team and you're leveling up and you're playing together more. I think it's a perfect time to sign up for the VGL.
I think what's interesting about the second qualifier that they announced is that the top 8 teams will have all expense paid trips to the finals in December, which is pretty cool. So even if you don't make it as a team that's playing there, you could at least view it, which I think would be experience of its own.
Yeah, definitely. And there's seems like VGL is doing it right. They got some money behind them. They're keeping it going. They don't want to stop. They don't want the season qualifiers to end and then everyone forget and they're like, oh, okay, we're starting up again. So with Blueberries and Don John and everyone else who's helping out with VGL, it's great to see what they're doing. Did you guys play in the last VGL at all, or just your teams, just supporting them that way?
We had two teams. I personally played in it.
Nice.
HH had fielded 2 teams. We both made it to I believe top 32. Top 32. And then had some pretty tough matches in there and got knocked out. But I mean, for us, that was just getting the experience. We had a couple guys that never had the tournament experience, and that's kind of what you look for in the tournament. I mean, everyone looks to win, but the whole ban and draft system is still fairly new in the tournament. For people who haven't been part of it, there's a lot of strategy involved into doing the right picks. So just being part of that and doing it real time, I think, was good for everyone. And then, of course, look to come back and do it again. It's kind of cool. It seems like we just finished the first qualifier. Now we're here in the second. But that's kind of always been on our mind. Is like, so HH Force was first day after getting knocked out. It's like, all right, VGL, we're training for VGL again, and that's always just in the back of our mind.
Yeah, and I was helping out on the VGL admin side, so just helping organize matches and just whatever I could. Really believe very strongly in what Don John and Blueberries are doing, and I know that Germany's a long way away from North America, so I just reached out and said, you guys probably have your hands full. Is there anything I can do to help? And they had a handful of opportunities for me to get involved and help out on that side.
Oh, very nice.
I didn't get to compete in VGL, but at least I got to be a part of it.
Part of it, yeah. And yeah, it's crazy what they're planning for. I think we'll start to see some other regions here maybe in the future. So anyone who's feeling left out in South America or SEA or any of those other spots that haven't been able to play yet. I think that's coming too. So that should be
Right.
fun.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like you said, playing in the tournament's a new thing for a lot of people. Like that experience and like the nerves that come, like a lot of time you just feel like it's a game you're playing on the couch, but then it's like, all right, we got this draft thing happening. It's like, oh man, this is real now. It changes your whole mindset.
Yeah, it was
So
the first, like, the whole, like, ESL was, like, the big thing, I think, was for Vainglory, was the big tournament saying, like, this is for reals now. And that was really nerve-wracking. And then now we're already going into this, and, man, it's crazy times, crazy times.
What I love is the marriage of like super seriously competitive gameplay in a tournament with mobile. So you have like in the last VGL, you have Shinkaigen, who is a sub for Arden Alliance. If you guys didn't hear the story, was that at the airport had basically said I'm not going to be able to play, but I Love Joseph had it was out for medical reasons, so it was down. It was looking like they were going to have to go do a 2-person match, and he like last minute Shinkaigen was able to log in from the airport on the airport Wi-Fi and play this super super competitive match. I bet best of 3, and
Right.
I know that I was the VGL admin for that match, so I'm, talking with Flash as they're trying to get started. They're like, please get this going, because he's got to board a
He's
flight
like
in like
boarding the plane.
like 20 minutes before the last last call for the plane. He's starting the second match. It's kind of like do or die. They need to win this match or they won't have time for a third, or he'll have to miss his flight.
Right. Yeah.
And they went, characteristic Shin style, like it was 5-0 at like the 6 or 7 minute mark. They all double infused and pushed really, really hard.
It's like we're on an actual clock. There's like in esports you hear this like this team comp's on a clock, but this one's like the plane is leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, okay, wrapped up that match. We're moving on, and I'm gonna go board my flight now. But I had just personally in the LEV, I had an experience like that too. LEV was, as you guys remember, 5 nights a week for 10 weeks straight. These teams
I will
would
never
jump.
forget that.
So I was on a team that slowly but surely became a one-man army, and I just didn't want to have like my name associated with no-show matches. So I jumped in there and did those 1v3 matches. But I got the pleasure of 1v3ing against Fuji, Hardik, and I don't remember who the third was in that match, but from the parking lot of my brother's wedding, I like stepped outside of the wedding, turned on LTE, played my competitive match against them. Didn't go so well, unfortunately.
It's so
but
low,
at least I did my part.
Oh man, that's funny.
But yeah, mobile and competitive is interesting. They match up funny, and there's funny stories that come of that for sure.
Yeah. So with the VGL too, they're doing something a little different this time with the seeding of the ranks or the teams. Like last time it was kind of just Super Evil being like, yeah, this guy looks like he's this level, and so here's their combined skill tier. But now with patch 1.9, we actually get like a real team skill tier, which should be nice for the seedings and maybe make some more competitive matches.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's like a three different areas. It's your current team ranking tier, your individual tier for this season, and then your your trophy from last season. So hitting on a couple of different points, which will definitely make it all fair. I think it's really cool for people that aren't part of like these big guild organizations. They could get 3 people together and they could, essentially have like a VG team, VG like ELO team, because they play together so often, but you've never heard of these guys because they're just not part of this big organization, but they qualify for one of these big tournaments, which I think is really cool that they've done.
I hadn't thought of this dimension before, but a guy like Xenotech, who's the member of our HH Force team and a very, very talented player, when he showed up on the scene, he nobody knew who he was. He started streaming. He hit Vainglorious in like his first week of play, and when you're talking about the talent, the next set of talent out there, I wonder how heavily VGL and SEMC are going to weigh that season 0 trophy. Because if it's a 33%, weighted, let's say hypothetically, then you could have somebody like new Xenotech on the scene that has this penalty because they weren't here for season 0 potentially.
Oh, right. So they have like a 0 in there, and so
right. I don't know how they look at that, but I'm sure they consider that.
But yeah, with all the different ways they're going to be seeded and everything, we won't have teams like Vaughn that most people hadn't heard of because people don't know everyone's alts. So
yeah, well, we had the pleasure of scrimming against them and had healthy respect for them as a team. But going into it before VGL started,
oh my gosh, that was
good. They deserved to go as far as they went for sure.
Yeah, that was so we scrim against Vaughn. We don't know who Vaughn really is, and it's like, oh, you guys have a scrim tonight versus Vaughn. So it was like what, like 5-6 weeks
I don't
ago,
think
maybe.
we had our whole team, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just weird. Like, hey, let's go scrim against these guys. We played 3 games. The first 2 games, oh my god, they completely wrecked us. Like, just completely playing like the most weird comps. I think they had like a support and playing some just different stuff. The third game, we did really well against them, and they came back. We threw the game, but after watching VGL, I'm like, I don't feel so bad about losing to those guys.
Right.
Like, those guys are really good.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
lots of respect.
Wow, crazy. So with the guilds and teams and all that, how's 1.9 been for you guys? Like, how are you liking this patch?
Celeste could go kick rocks. I'm so tired of seeing her on the lane. It's just Celeste.
Yeah, maybe with a scarf every now and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throwing cauldrons down on your head all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's what I really like about this game is the meta changing like every 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah,
which is really, really cool. Back in Heroes of More Chaos, it was like the same meta for like 6-8 months, and it was like the same laner and the same stuff like that. So for this game, like, again, I don't know how the meta changes for MOBAs, but it's so cool that like every couple weeks the game changes, and it's just, I don't necessarily feel it's like the buffing of someone. It's where someone gets nerfed and they totally rearrange everything. So the meta right now is because the Vox nerf. So it switched everything around, and it's very, very cool to see how people adapt, how quickly they adapt, and it comes like common knowledge for some of these meta compositions.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain a huge amount of it has to do with groupthink. Also, like somebody could truly take a completely objective look to it. We would see some other comps that would work, countering the Celeste, Jewel, Catherine. There's a comp out there that would work if just.
We've played correctly.
Fresh set of eyes and say, well, I'm just going to be Celestial Catherine also, so that I don't have to deal with.
That's kind of what happens with any of the meta. It's like, well, that beat me 3 times, so I will just play one of those because they are the best.
Right. So that's why with VGL I was jumping in a little bit on the admin side with EU, not as much just because of my schedule, but I saw there is absolutely a difference in meta from region, which just underscores that maybe the game is more balanced than people realize a lot of the times, and there's just there becomes this groupthink propensity to do.
Yeah, isn't that such a weird thing? Because even in League of Legends, like EU has a thing that they do, and NA does it this way, and it's like, you guys are playing the same game, and we all know the heroes and the champions are the same. Like, why? How is it so different from every region? It's a funny thing about balancing and just like play style. Like, this is how we play in this region.
Yeah, it's very cool, very cool. I think like SCA, they probably still use like Saw Lane or something. Those guys love Saw. They just absolutely love him.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of over Celeste. So yeah, hopefully we get a little bit of balance there. The Finn.
We need some red. We need some red in the lane.
Yeah,
I'm tired of all those blue. It hurts.
Been seeing more people with Finn out there, though. It seems like people are starting to get the hang of him and realizing like what you can do with him.
He is the true sleeper right now. I think Shin had displayed him going lane, which works really well. I personally think he's a better jungler.
Okay.
And then you have him in support, so I think he could probably actually fit all 3 roles. His his A ability is just ridiculous. Like, if you're seeing it, it's like you're level 3 and you're going around with your A and you hit someone for like almost 400 damage. It's ridiculous. It's
Right.
his skill set's so good, and then you just kind of got to get used to the walking slow around the map, and if you invade, you're not coming back out. You're just done.
No, yeah.
You spin or die over there and just forget about it. There's no boots.
No running away.
There's no boots.
But there are times where you're just like, I cannot kill this dude. Like, come on. Like, everyone else is dead. Like, should we just give up? Like, let's just leave him.
Yeah. Especially when he's in the lane. He's got that lane farm.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's really good. He's got really good clear times. His kid is just amazing. He's really good if played well. And I think the next patch he's gonna be even bigger. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why he's not like accepted meta at mid and high tier right now, because he does a lot of things right. And at level 8, he's a monster.
Yeah, I think
Monster.
we just don't see him a lot because he is so slow, and the game is all about like, I'm gonna find you and fight you. Like, let's do it. Let's just get out there. And he's just like, wait, guys, I can't get there fast enough. What are you guys doing?
Tier 2 boots are pretty critical for him, at least tier 2.
Have you guys seen this weapon fortress popping up?
I have not.
Oh, okay. This seemed like a new thing that kind of surfaced from this patch in the last like week or so. Like normal support in the jungle, and then weapon fortress, and the bleed and breaking point stacks kind of mess you up.
That is very interesting.
So
what if you put like a fortress and a fin together? There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Fin or fortress can speed.
Fortress can speed up. Then
Yeah. All right. That's not too bad. I feel like the 1.10 patch, there's a good chance we might see something with like the teams getting separated. Do you guys think we're ready for that yet? Like, do we have a big enough player base for teams and a solo queue? I feel like this is the biggest issue people have had with this patch.
I'm ready for it when I solo queue. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. You wouldn't think we would solo queue with 30 some odd members, but it still happens quite a bit.
Yeah, like sometimes
I'm not sure if they'll make that separation again. I still feel like the casual and ranked thing is still fairly new.
Sure.
And I don't know. I really don't know if it's going to make that.
I would like to see it.
Nice.
For sure.
It'd be nice, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
you might have longer queue times, but you guarantee that team goes versus team. That's gonna be good for the teams, because I know when we do play as teams, you go into the queue and you face like these 3 random guys. They got a guy that AFKs and it just gets stomped. It's no fun for anyone, because you sit there and you have to play, and it's not fun for the guys that are winning either. People go, well, it's not fun losing, but it's not fun for the guys winning, because they're not getting anything out of it.
Right, especially if
beneficial.
You did queue as a team, like you want to practice and learn as a team. Like you want to get that elo, but you also like, hey, we're trying to win real games here too.
Yeah, exactly.
So put it this way, I mean, when the player base reaches a point where it makes sense from SEMC's perspective, where they have the data and they know the exact player base, when they get to that point where the game is ready for it, it'll be a very welcome change for sure. But it's fun like it is now. The game's awesome. They're doing a great job. So
for sure,
when it gets to be that time, we'll all certainly be ready for that. Sure.
Yeah, like I get frustrated solo queuing, and then there's a lot of people that only want to play 3s, and it's like, well, I just want to play. I don't want to have to wait around for that third person too. So it's tough sometimes.
What I'm waiting for is like this influx of Android players. I feel like there's like this dam, and there's all these Android players, and they're only like going a few at a time. Like, I'm just waiting for all these people just to come up, and I don't know if they're stuck at like the lower tiers, but like, once they open this huge wall and they did that cross-platform, I just don't see those Android players, because I feel like at the mid and high tier you kind of know all the names.
Sure, yeah.
So they must be at some level or some point that they haven't reached up, and I'm waiting for that influx to come, because I think that will make it kind of influence the decision to separate team and individual queue.
Okay. So we'll see.
Well, 1.9 was huge for that. I mean, it's the requirements of the Android hardware dropped by half, more or less. Like, it's 2 cores instead of 4 cores, and more than doubled the number of devices that could play Vainglory now.
Yeah, I know.
So
it works on
you would expect that's just 1.9, but over time you'd expect those players to start moving.
Yeah, I know it works on the Kindle now. So we've someone play with often. Like she plays on the Kindle, and she's like, "It's way better now." And it's like you're the only person I know that plays on a Kindle. But all right, it's working for you.
That you know of, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, those requirements get easier and lighter. People are like, "Oh, I'll give it a try. Let's do this."
Right.
All right. Well, then the last bit of news is the free hero rotation. I'd like to mention that changes every Tuesday. So if you're looking to try out someone new, or just expand your pool a little bit. If you haven't been playing like us since November, and we have like everyone in this game, so if you're just getting started. But this is the first time Sky has been free, and it seems like the free hero from the last patch was usually free that first week. They've kind of like pushed that back a little bit. It's every like 6 weeks now instead of like the 4 weeks. So you'll see her now free, and along with her is Scarf, Arden, Rona, Catherine, and Kashka.
Oh gosh, that's a rough. That's a really good lineup. Like, there's a lot of possibilities for teams. I think Sky though, it's gonna be a lot of people who've never played Sky before, and it'll be like me playing Sky. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at Sky. It's like I could read the skill description over and over, and then I'll go do it, and it's just wrong. Like Sky is one of those heroes that require true mastery, and I think there's some good players at the higher tier that play her really well, but it's gonna be like someone's gonna interlock Sky, and everyone else is gonna go ding. It's like, I just dodge this game. I'll take the 30-minute ban. I don't even care at this point.
So
I just play with a bunch of bad Skies.
Fun fact about me is I've never dodged a game, but there's been a lot of times where it's sure really tempting to do. I understand the temptation.
Yeah,
I just feel like it makes it a little bit worse for other players that you just extend the time it takes to get into a game by doing that. So,
but yeah, I
won't do it, but I suffer the consequences all the time.
Yeah, I'm a terrible Sky too. I think I just need to get into casuals and play some more, and just like spend a couple streams or nights just like, let's do this Sky, insta-lock Sky every time. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, so you could be the one to insta-lock her, then you're fine once you get with her, right?
All right, dodge me. Like you're on the cooldown. But that's all the Vainglory news for this week. Let's jump into some forum static.
Forum static.
So on the forums and in-game right now, Contraption and Warhorn is super strong. So we went through, what was that, like I think about a month ago now, we had the week of everyone would just, get Warhorns and boots and, take down turrets. And so they had to change the turrets a little bit. But man, Contraption right now, everyone gets one. Like all the support does at least. And then,
I think they call it Poop Strat number 2.
Poop Strat 2.
Poop Strat 2. Poop Strat 1 was a triple horn, and now you got Poop Strat 2.
I've seen Ringos in lane get Warhorn, and I'll get Contraption, and so it's crazy strong right now. And I think it's just because the single damage to turrets, and then someone else can be taking jungle stuff. So if you separate them like that, you just clear and take objectives quick.
Yeah, and then you have the Catherine who gets the contraption, and then she'll get an aftershock and a clockwork, and she's doing 6-second stuns.
Yeah.
And if you've never gone against a 6-second stun Catherine before, then you don't you don't know how much it's gonna suck, because it just seems like she's always stunning. And the Arden's getting a contraption, so now this guy is always vanguarding. His gauntlet is always up, and it's just they just outlast essentially, and it's pretty hard to counter. There's a few, I think there's 1 or 2 comps you could do, but you have to notice it. It's like anything else; you have to notice early on and find a way to go against it. But if you allow the game to go longer, the harder it is going to be to overcome.
Mm-hmm. I do like that Contraption's getting used more, because I do like that item, but That's kind of funny that it became like everyone realized just how good it is right now.
Yeah, it's also the what you get the mines from it. So
Yeah.
every time you fight, there's just tons of mines. I definitely would like to see a nerf to the mines in the new update, which would be really nice because I think the early game damage from those things it's a little OP.
Right. So I wonder if maybe contraption should do the scout trap should be like a different size, or those do less damage, and if you want more damage, you buy them like straight up scout traps. So there's a little
Okay,
offset
good
there.
idea.
That could be an interesting way to help with that. But besides the scout traps, I think it's just like the turret damage and is just nuts. If you have one of these as the support, you can just run up there and be like, all right, let me help you take this real quick. You're getting that
Yeah.
proc. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, 3% per second is huge.
Yeah. Is it worth, like, do we need another hot fix? Is it as bad as Poop Strat 1?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's the same. It was advertised as at that way because I actually remember it was maybe a week ago that it started to get played a lot, and I was in Discord and HH Force was playing Zeno, Billy, and Sue Generis, and they're playing against it, and there's like, what the hell is going on? And this is their first game they had ever encountered it, and I'm
Yeah.
listening in Discord the whole time, and they're like, are you serious? Like, he's stunning me. Just keep Catherine off me. She's stunning me, and like, it was just horrible. It sounded horrible. It sounded like somebody was getting murdered on the other side of Discord. They come out of this and they go, yep, and they were all like, this is it. And then they played it again, and it was a different team,
Okay.
and it was just like, this is it. This is poop strat number 2. You can't beat it. There's no way to beat it. So
They did win the match, right? It was just
eventually, like after getting beat down for a while, they figured out how to kind of beat it, but it's
Okay.
still not common knowledge, and it's still being used. A lot of people are getting pretty high rank by using it. You see the same kind of people and players using it. So
Yeah, someone got mad at
not to
me
name names.
for I was building it, or not the whole thing. Like I had contraption and then working towards a fountain. And they're like, "Were you ever gonna get a fountain?" Like they messaged me after a game. They're like, "What the hell? Like, were you gonna be a support?" I was like, "I was a support all along. Stuns."
All right.
So,
Yeah,
so
Catherine's a lot of fun.
So be on the lookout if you're running into this contraption, cooldown Catherine, or Warhorn Ringos that just chase you down and melt turrets. If you have any thoughts on how to beat it, love to hear them, or jump into the forum here and post it as well, because I'm sure people need help with it. And then
I think I heard the key is Scarf is a good counter to it.
Scarf. Okay, they stand in the fire then.
Yeah, you kind of want to burn them. That's the only way. That's just that really quick sustained damage, because you got to realize what's making poop strat number 2 really good right now is the overdrive for cast shield,
Okay.
which makes it really good. That reflect damage at 25% is just huge in these team fights, and she's melting people with her shield.
Yeah, she's gonna get nerfed.
Poor Cath.
But then before we get out of here, let's jump into a little gameplay.
Gameplay.
So like we were talking about, we've been playing the game for a long time, and everyone has different knowledge of the game, and it's confusing when you first start playing MOBAs. Like there's so many items, there's all these characters, there's objectives to take. You just don't know what the heck is going on. And I've had a few people message me that are just getting started. There's people coming over from Clash of Clans that are, ditching that lame game, play Vainglory. And they're like, I just need some newbie help. Like I just need some tips. Like what item should I get, or what's a good item to build on this person? So, and since it's got both you guys here, it's a perfect almost round table kind of thing of just sharing maybe one tip if you were gonna tell a new person when they first start. Is there an item they should think about building, or fountain, or what's a good time to take minion mines or something like that?
I guess my tip would be for new players is you're playing a team game, so whatever you do, try to be part of that team concept. If someone's making a play, and although you're new, you're kind of like, why shouldn't it go there? I shouldn't do that. Live and die together as a team. There's no wrong decision if you're all moving together as a team, because you see a lot of these new players, they'll go and they'll farm separately, and the jungle and the support's doing one thing, and then the guy goes over here. Just kind of move as a team, kind of get some of that teamwork going, because in solo queue, that's kind of what makes or breaks it. If just trying to play and learn how to play as a team.
Okay.
With people that you don't even know, and that's kind of like a hard concept for some people. Go, well, I don't really know this game. Well, stick to this guy and then go fight with him and go do things with this guy. He may know better than you, or he may not, but at least you guys are together, and now it's two people. Because what's hard about like the newer players, like, so if this guy dies, then what do? I have no idea what I'm doing now. Like, do I go back and kill some farm and do something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kind of just that team concept is just move as a unit, and will carry up into the high tier, and that's kind of at every tier that is a core thing, is to live and die as a team.
Oh.
Well, yeah, my tip would be for a truly new player to Vainglory, or maybe even to MOBAs period, would be patience. There's a pretty significant amount of baseline understanding that's required to be able to be successful in Vainglory. Like, there's complete item trees for both weapon, defense, abilities, utility items. You're not going to know what any of those items are as a new player, so it's going to take time to get to where intuitively you know all of those items and how all of those items interact with all of the other items. So allow that to happen. Just be patient and allow time to let that happen. Allow time to let your understanding of the kits of each of the heroes progress to where you play each of the heroes that you can when they're on rotation, and figure out what roles work well for you. Then just kind of hunker down on that role and try to become the best jungler you can. Learn a couple different heroes, so if your hero is selected, you have an option.
Right, yeah. And don't be afraid to try different items, even though you always don't. The recommended is, it's there to help you and guide you, but don't be afraid to go off that a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. I'd say one thing is people ask about the minion miners a lot, and like when to take them and when not to take them. I think the general thought is, if you're ready to push that lane, like if you want to move forward in lane, maybe take the turret, that's usually when you want to take them. Because if you're just going to take them just because they're up, that's not usually helpful. Like, you want to use them to move forward in something else. So that's a couple tips. Maybe we'll do some more tips, some videos, some other stuff moving forward for all the new players that are just getting started into the game. But that's going to do it for episode 55. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Where can people find out about you guys, Halcyon Hammers, streams, all that good stuff?
So Halcyon Hammers, the best place is our website, halcyonhammers.com. Also follow us on Twitter, just at Halcyon Hammers. Right now we're doing a community art contest. We're giving away 8,500 ice over the course, between now and next Friday, for people that submit artwork per the instructions there. So just go check us out on Twitter, find that information, give us a follow. Hopefully we'll see some of your artwork. We're looking forward to seeing lots of cool stuff come about through that.
Nice.
I'm Tikune. I also stream at kamcord.com/live/Tikune. And Rage is also a Kamcord streamer. Similar URL, kamcord.com/live/Rage with the 4 in the R4GE.
All right, is there a schedule, or you guys just kind of, you have other jobs, so is it just kind of whenever you can?
Yeah, we both have schedules. Go ahead. You're Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Right?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 Eastern till about at least midnight. At least try to get 2 hours every stream. Usually getting to 3 or 4, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then follow me on Twitter at R4GE _VG, and then look for those the special weekend streams. we like to do some crazy things.
Yeah, you got to catch the next special with ITG with It's That Guy and Rage. The last one was insane.
Yeah, we had this 80s stream. It was the whole 80s layout. We had the 80s hair, 80s music, and
Oh,
just kind of
wow.
doing this theme stream. It was pretty fun. It was definitely worth.
Keeping it entertaining. Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you can follow Shatter the Vain on Twitter at Shatter the Vain. Website shatterthevain.com. All the episodes get posted there. Links to iTunes, Stitcher, there's YouTube, SoundCloud. All ways to watch and listen to the show is there, so that's a good place to go. And then the Facebook page /Shatter the Vain. Usually sharing news, maybe some in-game stuff that's happening, maybe some images. So head over there, like that up. And that'll do it for this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks again, guys, for joining me.
Shatter the Vain.